We have Florence Oladotun with us in the studio. Ibinabo Dixon is joining us via phone this morning. Good morning, Ibinabo Dixon.
Morning, Kimberly.
Oh, it's not very audible right now. Wow, it's breaking. We may have to try to reconnect with Ibinabo. Florence, good morning to you. Good to have you join us this morning
Good
on
morning.
Panorama.
Good morning, Kim. Good morning, WFM. Good morning, our
Yeah,
valued listeners.
yeah, good to have you with us. Now,
Thank you.
we'll start things off with mixed reactions that is currently trailing Mercy Johnson, tackling her daughter's teacher over bullying. Bullying is something that, it's everywhere, in workplace, in schools, in even at home. Siblings bully, other siblings. It's very, and some have tied that to psychological issues. I've talked to some psychological experts over time that have said, most of these people that bully others, it's coming from a place of psychological problem or something. Probably there was something lacking at home. But now, focus on what Mercy Johnson has to say. Mixed reactions have trailed the reports by the actress Mercy Johnson about a yet to be identified female teacher who has been bullying her daughter called Purity. Now, the mother of four, in a series of posts on her Instagram page on Friday, bitterly narrated how Purity had complained and suffered in the hands of the teacher who had said she doesn't like Mercy Johnson and celebrity kids are badly behaved. Although the actress had refrained from revealing the name of the teacher and the school, she said that she had politely confronted the teacher and also reported to the school authorities. Her post read in parts: "What do you do when the teacher is actually the bully and your child is the constant victim? Enough is enough. I have reported to the school authorities and I will see this to the end. A teacher at my child's school has been bullying my daughter constantly for 2 whole weeks. She's not her class teacher, yet she shows up at her class every day to intimidate her, uses biro to flick her hair. She tells her to have her face to face that she does not like her mother, tells her that celebrity kids are badly behaved and that she should not bring her aura, she should stop feeling proud, she should not bring her online drama to school, and the daughter is 8. That's just some of the things she had to say. Now we'll look at, you seize this opportunity to also look at bullying everywhere. And of course, we can't exhaust it without talking about the way forward. I've been about Dixon. Good morning to you once again.
Good morning, Kimberly.
All right, sounds better now. So we'll start with you, Florence. What do you have to say about, what's going on with this situation now, taking it to look at bullying in schools, at homes, and also in workplaces?
Thank you. Ibinabo, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Florence. Thank you. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. So now to the issue, bullying. What is bullying? Bullying is the act of intimidating or coercing somebody on a persistent basis to the extent that you make the other person feel less of a person, or feel unpleasant, feel unhappy, unworthy, and all that. And just like you said, bullying takes place across board. Parents bully children, siblings bully themselves, classmates, schoolmates bully themselves, teachers bully children, spouses even bully themselves, and even in the workplace. But the one I take exception to, none of them is good, but I just like to pitch my tent around the children. So when parents bully children or when teachers bully children, then we have to speak up for the children. Of course, bullying can be verbal, name calling, like a teacher is telling a child, I know you can't do well. I know you will get it wrong. That's bullying because you are impressing something in that child. It can be physical and it can be emotional. So having laid that foundation, let's now go to the story. We're not taking the story because it's about Mercy Johnson. It could have been anybody's child, But for a teacher to have done that, we haven't had the teacher side of the story. So we're trying to be cautious, but let's just limit ourselves to the information available to us. Teachers, if there is any industry where discipline is required, the utmost, I think, is the teaching profession. So teachers are supposed to be disciplined and they're supposed to have self-control. They're supposed to draw a line between their personal lives and their professional lives. Why? Because they are models. You find out that a lot of children take after their teachers. They mimic their teachers. Mannerisms, dressing, manner of speaking, and so on. So if a teacher sees himself or herself in that light as a model, then that should, give that person some caution. Am I reproducing? Am I happy with what I'm reproducing in this child? So whatever went wrong with that teacher, I still don't understand why the teacher will have to take her hatred for Mercy Johnson on her daughter. But having said that, I have some word for school owners as well. School owners, proprietors, proprietresses, head teachers, and the rest of them. You are supposed to perform oversight functions. You're not supposed to sit down in your big offices and just assume that things are going on well. If this has happened for 2 weeks and the parent has to now tell the parents have to now tell the head teacher or the assistant head teacher according to the report, then something is wrong with the supervision. And I always advocate what we call management by walking around. Instead of a school owner sitting there in her office or a proprietor sitting there in her office, go around. Many things you would observe without somebody even coming to tell you. It's possible maybe along the line, you're on the corridor or somewhere, you overhear a teacher use some bad language on the children in your school, then you can quickly address it. And of course, it's also important for school owners to have seminars for teachers. Teachers are individuals too. They have their issues, But when we have periodic seminars, workshops for them, what they should do, what they should not do, how they can up their game, how they can render service, then we turn out better people. But I hope this school will look into this matter and get back to the parents. Because, one last word on this, a satisfied customer will tell other people. And a dissatisfied customer will also tell other people. So if this matter is swept under the carpet or is not treated well, then it will be bad news for that school.
So now, bullying now in homes now, what do you think fuels this? Do you think it's the issue of favoritism, where there is a favorite child, or, where there is a favorite staff? Do you think that makes bullying worse? Because it's like, I can do this and I can get away with it because in the eyes of, the father or the mother, or in the eyes of the proprietor, I can get away with it. So I'm going to bully you. Do you think that fuels that favoritism in homes or in offices?
Even if you are a favored child or you are a favored staff, that doesn't, if you are not an aggressive person or a how do I put it now? Somebody who just likes to mess other people up, being favored should not make you a bully. If you are a bully, it means you already have that seed in you. And it has nothing to do with whether you are favored or not favored.
So you don't think
children? No. Children who are favored don't have to be bullies. But children who feel neglected, children who have a void, and that they need to feel a void, they need to feel loved, they need to feel accepted, they need to feel, wanted, may become bullies. For instance, children who don't do well in school, who never receive accolades, who never receive commendations, who always, come last. Let me put it that way. There is a feeling of unworthiness. And for them to feel that feeling, unfortunately, they resort to this negative coping mechanism.
Okay.
So it's actually about people who are disadvantaged, who turn out to be bullies, rather than those who are advantaged. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you're listening, be a part of the conversation. 07000 917 917. That's 07000 917 917. All right, Ibinabo.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm taking it up from where I would say that anything that is similar to initiable act in any place is a no-no. Because you see, we are looking at a child, she's only 8 years, because an 8-year-old is in a formative year. So whatever she takes up now, it's going to remain indelible in the brain. And it's going to be part of what is going to form the personality of this person. So, first off, reading this story, where I became a bit worried is the fact that this had gone on for, a few weeks. So, the question is, what is the school authority doing about it? There were some teachers who witnessed this. And what did they get to say about it? And incidentally, she's not even the class teacher of this child. So you can imagine what goes on in a school. You see, school authorities are forgetting that when you drop your child in a school, the school authority automatically becomes the local parents to that child. So whatever happens to that child within the school period is the responsibility of the school. So we should begin to let school owners understand this. It's not about having the money and erecting a structure and calling it a school. There is more to having a school than just having the money to put it up. So for this, I'm looking at the responsibility of the school owner. Why have you? We need to ask them questions because is it because this is Mrs. Johnson's daughter? That is why the story became public. Are there other children who are under the same pressure and nobody is doing anything about it? Then again, another question is this woman, this so called teacher, is she acting under an instruction? Is she running somebody's errand?
Okay.
Because it is time. We are looking at, okay, maybe for the teacher to even, sometimes when the teacher is naughty and so on and so on, when the parent comes up, they tend to try to look for excuses and try to not to look so bad in the eye of the parents. But this one became so, bold and still could speak anyhow in the face of the parents, whether it is Ms. Johnson or any other person. So the question is she running somebody's errand? Because we need to get to the bottom of this. Let us make this an example. Because if we don't, if the appropriate authorities do not do this, it sends a very wrong signal. Because I have my children in school. I don't know what is going on. Sometimes some people are so scared and they don't discuss this at home. If the child is being bullied to a point, it becomes part of that child. So it's either you live with it or you run away from it.
All right.
This child is running away from it. Some children will want to live with it because their parents always insist that they must go to school. Their parents cannot and must not hear that I don't want to go to school. At this point, what is the place of the parents? Parents should always try to gently understand why a child is kicking against going to school on a particular day. Try to understand it. Don't begin to say, oh, you are lazy, oh, you want to play, oh, you this and that. Get to the bottom of it. Why is my child not wanting to go to school? And also, just like Florence said, there is need for training and retraining of our teachers. And when you, as an educationist, it's part of what we do for schools. But a lot of schools would rather, collect huge fees and not want to, further, enhance the teaching services that is being given to pupils in that school by and retraining the teachers. Because that you are, whatever it is you are, is your private life. Don't bring it to school. And rightly again, there is need for oversight function. Because if you don't do this, and do it, randomly, because people can really act up. Somebody who's been very nasty with pupils in the class, because he or she knows that whoever is in charge is coming to check on them.
Yeah.
They pick up their best behavior. So all of these things, it is not about making money. School is not about making profit. It's not about having a beautiful structure and then telling everybody my school is the best. It's about what you are giving back to these children because you are selling them to the society. What kind of children are you turning out in your school? I remember there was a time my girl, she was little then. She attended a school, somehow. She was in a nursery section. So I didn't know because I wasn't even around. So my sister was one picking her up from school for that week. So she was always crying in the school.
Yeah.
In the class. So I got a letter from the school inviting me to the school. So when I got there, I met with the teacher and she was profusely begging me that, Madam, please, how best do you calm your daughter when she's, like this and like that? And I was like, why are you asking me this question? And she had to now narrate how my daughter would always cry in the class and the admin for junior, whatever, I can't remember the particular designation for the person, that they gave her a query that for her not to know how best to calm my daughter down might cost her job. So she became afraid and she had to, speak with me to know how best, okay, if she's unhappy, if she's crying, how do you calm her down? And that got me worried. So I had to speak with my daughter. And what was the issue? She said because because usually I was one always dropping out in school. So for a week, I had to travel for a program, and I wasn't doing that. So she was not happy, and she didn't want to complain. So the only way she could, let out her anger is to cry in the classroom. So you see, we have to now resolve it. I have to now talk to her. Do you like your teacher? She said yes. If you cry again in the school, they are going to send your teacher away. And she became worried, and that is how things, was taken care of.
Yeah.
So school staff should be up and doing when it comes to looking out for the pupils in their school. It's not about sending letters to parents whom are paid school fees. Yes, they're going to make profit because they have spent money. But then again, that is why teaching is something you have to really love to engage in. So I'm appealing to all school owners out there. Whatever problem any child is having in your school, I mean, be very prompt.
All right. Okay.
Become degenerated before you begin to take action. Thank you.
All right, then. If you're listening, be a part of the conversation on Panorama this morning, where we have different ladies from different political zones come together to discuss, dissect, disagree on topical issues. I am Kimberly Ubiabor. We have Florence Oladotun in the studio and Ibn Abo Dixon via phone with us this morning. We're going over some topical issues. As always, call the studio line 07000 917 917. Now, coming from the World Health Organization, losing a baby in pregnancy through miscarriage or stillbirth is still actually a taboo subject worldwide and linked to stigma and shame. Many women still do not receive appropriate and respectful care when their babies die during pregnancy or childbirth. I believe that this is prevalent in rural areas more. Is it prevalent in urban areas?
I think.
Hello,
Yes.
Panorama. Please hold that thought. Hello, Panorama.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Good morning. I think this is my first time calling.
First time caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Lourdes. I'm calling from Ikeja.
All right, good to have you. So what's your contribution?
My contribution is that some teachers, I don't think they are mentally okay. Because recently in my daughter's school, there's a lady, a teacher that actually teaches her. She's in SS2. So one day I was in my shop because my shop is actually close to the school. And she came to the shop and said, my daughter dragged her said that my daughter beat her up. I was surprised. I was shocked. I started begging her. I don't know what to say at that particular time. But I know the doctor that I gave birth to that she's a very calm, emotional thing. Makes her cry a lot. So I just started begging the lady because I don't know what to do at that point. I started telling her that I'm surprised that this kind of thing is coming from my daughter. I don't know what came over her. That she should please. But she was crying. She was telling me that if not for a situation that she will not be a teacher, that she's master degree older, she's this, she's that her husband is pushing her to work, that's what she wants to work. If not for that my daughter would have not had the chance to drag her chair. She was really crying and I felt bad and I don't know what to do. I just stood up and I hugged her.
Yeah.
I told her that I'm going to go to their school the following day that she should please forgive my daughter. Then I just begged her and then she left. I don't know, something just came over me that she called my daughter. But by that time my daughter is already at home. I just called her phone. I said, what happened today? Before I started talking, she just started crying.
That's your daughter?
So me too, I started crying too on the phone. What happened? So I said, Mommy, the lady strangled me. The lady pushed me to the wall. Then the lady strangled me. She pushed me to the wall. Then I pushed her back and I ran away to the principal's office. And she just started crying. So that just got me and I just called the phone and I called the school immediately. I called the I did not pick. I called the school office line. Then the headmaster just picked the phone. I was saying, good afternoon, sir. What happened today? And the man said, Madam, don't worry about it.
You could please summarize for the sake of time. Just help us summarize it. But we're actually looking at the way forward now for teachers like this that get to harass.
I'm just trying to tell you that there are some teachers that is not mentally stable. So at the end of the whole thing, the letter begged, the letter said that the lady that is not mentally stable, that they have been working out for some time now, they don't know what happened to her that day. The lady was telling my daughter to sit down, and my daughter refused to sit down. The lady just took my daughter and tried to strangle her. This is in fact, that's why I always tell people that before you do, there are some people that are not stressful at home. So they can just bring out the issue and just transfer the aggression.
Transfer the aggression. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's just my contribution. There are some people that are passing through in fact, they're going through a lot. So listening like this is just
so they need psych evaluation. Thank you very much. Thank you. But come to think of it, Florence, how many people in Nigeria, because according to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 4 persons in Nigeria is mentally unstable. So as much as you may want to cover it with, smiles and social media pictures, how many people in Nigeria are actually not going through something that is, taking a toll on their mental health? But now, still on the WHO, I was talking about women who have to lose pregnancies through miscarriage and stillbirth. In some areas, you'll be surprised that in some communities it's still seen as a stigma. They're stigmatized and it is seen as a taboo. I'm just wanting to believe that that's prevalent in rural areas, because I don't think people that are enlightened or are aware of these issues would still stigmatize women who lose babies. But let's hear what you have to say.
I don't think it's a rural area issue.
Okay.
It is universal. When a woman is unable to have a child, maybe she loses pregnancy, miscarriage, or she has a stillbirth, or she's infertile, the society sees her as having failed. It's like ability to bring forth a child is a pass mark that you're a woman. So if you can't bring forth a child, then something is wrong with you. Majority do not even take into cognizance the problem from the husband's side. But even if the husband is understanding, even if family members are never understanding, you see mother-in-law coming, you see sister-in-law coming, you are just eating our brother's money. You have been here for 10 years. You have been here for 5 years. You don't have a child. So I don't think it is about rural area. Even people in urban areas.
You know why I said rural? Because I'd like to believe that if you have some level of education, you don't even have to have a PhD to understand that there are some things that happen.
You will be surprised at the way some people behave. When some things happen, you will wonder whether they're actually educated. Okay. Even men who are supposed to understand that, okay, look at having girls or having boys. Medical science will tell you that having girls is at the prerogative of the husband. Let me put it that way. It is his egg that determines.
He determines.
So many men who are educated, who know that, will still blame their wives
they
for
just
having
feel
girls.
That some women's head should have oil. Like her head should bring locks.
So sometimes people just put the education to one side and they say, no, this is not about PhD. Yeah. This is, I want a male child or I want children, as the case may be. So whether rural, whether urban area, inability to have a child puts a lot of pressure on the woman.
True.
And it becomes more heightened when there's no support. When there's no support from the family, number one. And when there's no support from the family of the husband, that now compounds the issue. But when you have an understanding husband, and
is it the case of being barren now or losing the child to miscarriage and stillbirth? I think those are two. There are some women that have not been able to conceive at all. That's a different.
Whether you are infertile, you don't get pregnant, or you have stillbirth, or you don't, or you miscarry. The fact that you don't have a baby, a live baby.
Yes.
And
sometimes the problem is from the man. Not always from the woman.
Sure.
But let's hear from Ibinabo Dixon. We'll come back to you. Ibinabo, what do you have to say?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, losing a baby before or after birth is very traumatic, very distressing. It is very painful. But you see, people don't understand this. They know really, but they would rather, you woman come back home and come and quickly get pregnant again and none of all that. They forget that it comes with a huge adverse effect. You see, on the part of the woman, she has this fear of recurrence. You understand? And this could affect her mental health. People forget this. Post-traumatic stress disorder, which ends in depression, is affecting a lot of women out there. So your analysis on how many people and how many number of people are mentally okay is not wrong. The issue is what is the bottom line. of these cases. Now, nobody considers, her having, I mean, the woman now who just lost a baby. I'm talking about a woman who
Yeah.
lost her baby, fire, bad, or whatever reason, but has lost a newborn baby. Now, nobody thinks about getting a psychological, help for her. You understand? Because she needs somebody who is professional to talk to her. You don't know what goes on in the head of a woman when she has lost a baby she carried for 9 months. 9 months is no joke. You can't do a lot of things you normally would do in that period. And then you are looking forward to having a baby, and now you have lost it. I remember there was a case of a lady, a young lady, that was her first child. She lost this baby. And, another thing, there is no postpartum, lectures. When you're from death, whether the baby is alive or you have lost it, it's even more important when the baby is lost. So you have to give a postpartum advice on how to take care of yourself. This girl wasn't given any. She came home and she fell ill. So I asked her mom, how is she doing? I hope she's coping well. The mom said, it is not even about her losing the baby now. She's afraid of losing her daughter. I said, what is the problem? And she said, the breast is so heavy, like stone. And this is very painful. So from the little experience I've had over the years from people, my parents, my mother, and all of that, I now advise that before they go to the hospital, they should go to the hospital, yes. But then that was very late when I called. So I said, okay, so get hot water and try to press the breast gently with the very hot water that you can tolerate. And that was what she did. And the woman later gave me a feedback that while the girl she was helping the girl to do it in the bathroom, and she could see that while they were doing it, there was a release of breast milk. So you see, the kind of advice that they don't get. Mothers lose their pregnancy due to many cases. It could be miscarriage, it could be stillbirth, it could be ectopic pregnancy. And nobody cares to know why. You understand? And sometimes it could be due to SIV. A woman is pregnant and her husband goes to get something from somewhere and brings it to her. And
infection.
They are pregnant to lose the pregnancy and they will still keep the blame on her. So my plea here is that, just like Florence rightly said, that is very true. Whether when it comes to not having a baby or losing a baby, education does not really have a role to play in some families. They can have education, they can be PhD holders, but they will still behave as though they don't know anything. They are so, bereft of ideas and have to do with all of this. Nobody thinks about, allowing this woman. She should be given space to grieve her baby. Because sometimes they say, don't worry, like you're about to say,
as if I understand what she's saying. I'm just laughing. All right. Yeah.
This is not hard. Give her the space and time to breathe and love.
Yeah.
Let's get over it. I know a woman who lost a baby in January, sorry, Kimberly, and she had another baby in December of that same year. So which time did she give herself? So the accumulation of issues like this could result in mental issues. So we have to be mindful of what we do with ourselves.
Yeah. So, Florence, let me ask you now your thoughts on adoption. As much as, some people are trying and then, there's stillbirth, there's miscarriage, and it's a lot of people still frown at, adopting babies. There are so many babies out there with no parents. And, some would say you don't know what you're bringing into your home. Some would say, there's still so many. Even I've seen two cases where, these women were trying to have a child for almost a decade now. Okay, no child. Then she thought of faking the pregnancy. Then she'll go and adopt the child. Why? Because it's like, okay, I don't want society to know that I don't have a child. So when she fakes the pregnancy for a period of time, she'll now go and take the newborn from somewhere. Hopefully not this baby farming thing, but registered, with the government and all that. But adoption, what are your thoughts on it? Do you see it like a reasonable alternative for people who are trying, or for a woman or family who's trying to have a child?
It's a very sensitive issue because you really don't feel the pain that somebody who doesn't have a child feels. I've been there. I waited for about 6 years before I
Wow.
had a child.
Wow.
Yes.
How
And it
many do you
was-
have now?
I have one.
Oh, one.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
To the glory of God.
Yes.
But those 6 years were like hell on earth.
Wow.
But thank God, I have a very supportive husband.
Wow.
I have very supportive family members. But even at that, you know, there were times I had suicidal thoughts.
Wow.
So having said that, it's, you know, it's easy to say anything to a woman who is in that position when you are not there. You can begin to say, why are you taking it badly? You know, but then I thank God for Jesus. I thank God for God, who is a miracle working God, who showed up on my behalf. And I believe that for every woman who might be going through this.
But did you consider adopting at any point?
Okay, let me just for any woman who may be going through this, my prayer is that the God who showed up in my situation, because my case was really bad, the God who showed up is still alive and he will show up.
Definitely.
So having said that, adoption, you know, there's this feeling that if it's not your child, it's not your child. There's that feeling. Don't let us deceive ourselves. Even when maybe you bring in a nephew or you bring in a niece or you bring in an in-law's child, there's that small feeling that, oh, this is not really my child.
Really?
Yeah.
But I get, okay.
So it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of submission, you know. If you now think, okay, if I'm not able to have my own biological child, let me adopt. It's a personal decision. You can't lord it over anybody. It has to come from within.
But I think society, you know, the reason a lot of people may not want to adopt is because what society, what people will say. They'll say she went to adopt 2 children. But, you know, at this still not, you know, families sometimes were closest to the people that were not even bonded to by blood.
Do you know some women have invested their lives in children they adopted, maybe family members?
Yes.
Who at the end of the day turned back and said, you are not my mother. I'm going back to my biological
mother. But we
mother.
also have blood. We also hear cases of children disowning their parents as well. So it's not, I don't think it's
that's what I'm saying. It's a personal decision.
Yeah.
For a woman who is unable to have a child, if she gets to a stage that she's at peace adopting. Some women have gotten to that stage that okay,
why not adopt?
Why not adopt and just
because
you know, whatever happens.
Of when you adopt, that's when you begin to have children. We've heard stories like this.
Yorubas say that it is the head of a child that brings in another child.
All right, I've been about for the sake of time. Let's hear what you have to say. The same question I asked her.
Okay. Florence took off that balance from my mouth. But you see, there are times that I'm not against adoption. I'm like Florence has said, it is a personal thing. If you are comfortable with it, some people don't even want to hear. They don't want to hear it. Don't even suggest it. So it's a personal thing. But I always advise those who are in that situation that how about not necessarily a family member, because they will give you all the reasons why they are saying no. So if you suggest, okay, go to an orphanage and
exactly
any of such places to get, and they will tell you, we don't know the history of the mother, the father, that and everything. And I will tell them that, look, you see, what makes up a human being is not just the biological aspect. Apart from biological aspect, when you bring up this child and the prayers and everything will build up this child, that you will be shocked that this child will be different. Even if this child was given birth to by some criminals, you will be shocked that this child will be so scared to even hear about anything else with criminality. Having said that, where I come from, I'm from Rivers State. And in Rivers State, I'm Calabari. In my tribe, we don't really see anything so wrong in adoption. So you're not going to be shy that you are adopting a child. Just that the joy of having your own. I mean, you don't want to do that of that.
I'm funny. I look forward to adopting. Even about Dixon is off the line. Network issues. Now, even Joke Silva, you know, she was adopted. We
Yeah.
have a lot of people that
Even this
I don't
this
see
lady who is
wrong
late
with
now.
adopting.
No, nobody is saying it
No,
is wrong.
I know. Like for me now, I am, like endorsing it that I feel that there's so many children out there that need help. Like if you can afford it.
Look at this woman. I mean, she's late now.
Yes.
Of blessed memory.
Yes, she adopted.
And she was happy. She was happy with those 2 children. Even the husband
exactly
appears very happy, very fulfilled. So we're not saying that it's outrightly wrong, but you don't impress it on anybody to do. If it comes naturally, like it's coming to you now.
Because we grew up hearing that. Why would you carry another person's child? Okay, if you're gonna adopt a boy now, you carry the family's name that is not his name. All right, we have 3 minutes more, so we'll just a bit about good to have you back on.
Thank you.
All right.
So quickly, yes, I would advise that you can adopt, but you see, then again, there is need to check this child. You see, because sometimes you're adopting a child that probably has hidden health issues. So a lot of times, some parents will just go and adopt and continue taking care of this child without trying to understand a lot of things. They don't even know the blood group. When there is an issue, they now begin to go helter-skelter. Having said that, for me, because of my background and where I come from, as it is beautiful to have your own. The experience is fantastic. Yeah. But then again, just like you said, Kimberly, that there are times that even the biological child of a particular family will begin to behave. And when you say what, they want to disown you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them spend so much money on them, they turn their back on their parents.
Mm-hmm. True.
So a good child is a good child, whether it is your biological child or it is an adopted child. But an adoptive parent, I'd say sometimes, enjoy the adopted child more than even their own biological children.
Sure.
Even in some families.
Sure.
I have an uncle who has his own 2 children, and he adopted 2 other children. It is always a competition between the 4 to take care of them.
Yeah.
So it depends. But I believe in one thing, and that is whatever it is you are going to do, pray to God about it. It will lead you to the right place. It will lead you to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is my belief.
Yeah. All right, let's get your final words for Panorama this morning.
Okay,
I thought,
yes, we talked about booking and everything.
Yes.
Being assertive and being aggressive. You see, there's a thin line between the two. But being assertive could have its positive side and could even have its negative side. But the problem is, a lot of times, we're not able to draw the line. Sometimes, while you are being assertive, you begin to, go to the other side and become aggressive. So, anything that we are doing, whatever it is we are doing, let us take into cognizance the opinion and the feeling of others. Don't be selfish in whatever opinion you have. Listen to others. Give a listening ear to other people too. They have their own mind. They have their own opinion. Don't always be opinionated. Your opinion is the best and nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibinabo Dixon. Do have a beautiful day. Now, Florence, over to you. Your final words on everything we've talked about.
I want to appeal to women, because the reason why we have a lot of children waiting to be adopted is because most times their mothers have abandoned them.
True. We had one that she sold her baby for.
So, if you are not ready to take responsibility, please don't bring a child to this world and go and throw it somewhere, hoping that one rich woman or one rich family will come to adopt. That is not the plan of God. You can wait until you have the resources. You can employ family planning devices. You can work. A lot of women are still lazy. I say it so. I mean, they think the men are to cater for them. Of course, the men have to cater for their wives. But I'm an advocate of a woman doing something for herself. Go to school. That will enhance your potentials to be able to take care of yourself. If you can't go to school, learn a trade. What Yoruba people call ishe owo. If you can't learn a trade, you can't learn a vocation, trade. Sell vegetables, sell pepper, sell this, sell that. If you can't do that, render service. Cook, clean people's houses, wash people's clothes, make money.
It's beyond the financial pressure now. It also has to do with psychologically it's not easy to bring up a child.
That's what I'm saying. The bottom line is, if you are not ready to show that the responsibility, please don't throw one child into the world waiting for somebody
when so
to
many
come
people are
adopt.
looking for children.
You are not fair on that child. If a
Sure.
child grows up to find out that the mother abandoned her or him,
Yeah.
how would the child
What
feel?
happens? And now on bullying, your final words.
Bullying is unacceptable at whatever level, whether parent to children, whether teacher to children, even amongst children. We should be civil. We should live like normal, sane people without inflicting injuries on our fellow men and women.
That's it on Panorama. Same time tomorrow. Kimberly Ubiebo, Florence Oladotun, and Ibinabo Dixon. Join us same time, 9:15 to 10 a.m.
Dentist, what are cavities? And how does Colgate protect my teeth from cavities? Does it use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Most tooth pains are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavities.
It's time to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Yes, cavities out!
Colgate is recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.